We need a medic to the middle of the, good. No medic? Oh, she's good. False alarm, no good. She's good, she's good. She's good, she's good. True soldier over there. That's what I like to see. Again, y'all, we got about 10 more minutes till the program starts. My name is DJ Romeo Million, up here on the ones and twos. We are about to start our program. We're about to get this program started. Shouts out to all my brand new followers on Instagram. I will be following you back shortly. It's almost that time, everybody. It's almost that time. What's up? I know, right? Put those signs up in the air. What's up, y'all? Hey, hey, come on. What y'all trying to do? Hey, hey.
24 karat magic in the air.
What's up, ladies over here to the right? I see y'all.
Look out. Pop, pop, it's showtime. 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 Guess who's back again? Oh, they don't know. Oh, they don't know. I bet they know as soon as we walk in. Show up. I'm wearing Cuban links. Yeah. Designer mix. Yeah. Inglewood's finest shoes. Don't look too hard, might hurt yourself. Known to get the color red, the blues.
Come on, come on.
I'm a dangerous man with some money in my pocket. Keep up.
Ha, what's up,
So
y'all?
many pretty girls around me and they're waking up the rocket. Keep up.
Hey, hey.
Why you mad? Fix your face. Ain't my fault they all be jocking. Keep up. Players only. Come on, put your ticket razor to the moon.
Come on, come on.
Girls, what y'all trying to do? 24 karat magic in the air. Head to toe, so clear. Look out. Second verse for the hustlers. Gangsters. Bad bitches and your ugly old friends. I cannot preach. I cannot preach. I gotta show them how I can get it in. First, take your sip. Do your dip. Spend your money like money ain't shit. Ooh, ooh. We too fresh. Got to blame it on Jesus. Hashtag blessed. They ain't ready for me.
Come on, come on.
I'm a dangerous man with some money in my pocket.
Keep up. What's up, Detroit?
So many pretty girls around me and they're waking up the rocket. Keep up.
Ha, ha.
Why you mad? Fix your face. Ain't my fault they all be jocking. Keep up.
How far can
Players
these
only.
signs go
Come
up?
on, put your pinky razor to the moon.
Oh, I see y'all back there in the back.
Trying to do. What you trying to do? 24 karat magic in the air.
Oh, this place is blacked out. This place is blacked out.
Everywhere I go, they be like, ooh, so bad. Everywhere I go, they be like, ooh, so bad. Everywhere I go, they be like, ooh, so bad. Now, watch me break it down like 24 karat. What's that sound? Come on now. 24 karat. 24 karat magic. Fight the feeling, invite the feeling, just put your pinky razor to the moon. Girls, what y'all trying to do? Tell me what you're trying to do. 24 karat magic in the air. Head to toe, so clear. Put your pinky razor to the moon. Girls, what y'all trying to do? 24 karat magic in the air. Head to toe, so clear. Look out.
Hey, it look like my backside back there is the livest in the building. What's up, everybody in the back? Are you the livest over there? I see them signs right there. Anybody with a sign, let me see y'all hold your signs up. Let me see these. There we go. There we go. There we go. We trying to turn Michigan blue. We trying to turn Michigan blue. I know that's right. It's me, your boy, your man, DJ Romeo. It's time for me to close out my set because the program is about to start. But I couldn't do that without playing a Motown classic. Y'all want to hear a Motown classic? I said, do y'all want to hear some Motown classic? Let's see if you can keep up with me. I don't hear you.
When it's cold outside, I've got the month of May.
Oh, I gotta hear you. Where you at? Where you at?
I guess you say my girl, my girl, my girl, talking about my girl, my girl. I've got so much honey, the bees and gimme.
What y'all know about this right here?
I've got a sweeter song than the birds in the trees. Well, I guess you say,
Let me hear you.
what can make me feel this way? My girl, my girl, my girl, talking about my girl.
Hey, my girl. Ooh. Okay, my Motown classics. All right, y'all make some noise for Motown. Come on. Hey, hey, hey. That's what I like to hear. That's right, ladies. What's
I
that?
don't need no more gentlemen.
Hey, hey, hey.
I got all the riches, baby. One man can play.
Let me get it real loud, y'all. Real loud. Come
Well,
on.
I guess you say my girl,
Hey,
talking about my girl. I've got sunshine on a cloudy day with my girl. I've even got the month of May with my girl. Talking about my girl. My girl.
all right, all right, all right. Had to hit y'all with a little Motown classic. What you think? We got time for one more? We good? Oh, we good. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Just play.
Please welcome former Detroit Lions wide receiver.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Oh, yeah. Well, how about I say this? What up, though, Detroit? Yeah. Don't lie, I feel you. Well, for those of you who might not know me, my name's Calvin Johnson, Jr. I spent 9 years here playing wide receiver for your Detroit Lions. And I'm grateful for every single day and all the opportunities that this city has afforded me. But tonight, I'm here to represent Athletes for Harris. A group doing everything we can to make sure over the next 2 weeks, we elect Kamala Harris as the next president of the United States. When I was playing in Detroit, I got to know this place very well. The people of Detroit are resilient, we're passionate, we're proud, and we know how to get a job done. And we're good looking, you're right about that. Kamala Harris understands that too. She has the same grit, the same fighting spirit. She knows we have pride in the city of Detroit and the great state of Michigan. That's why our campaign is built on fighting for the people. Whether you're a small business owner trying to get started, a doctor trying to care for your patients, or a family just trying to get established, Kamala Harris is running to make life easier for you. Now, I can't say the same for the other side. Hey, I'm gonna take a note out of Obama's book. Take it to the ballot box and vote, all right? Now, does it really make a woman's life better to take away her ability to make decisions regarding her own body? No, it doesn't. But Trump believes so. To immigrant families and all people of color, how does it make our lives better as Trump constantly denigrates our communities and sows seeds of discord? Simply put, it doesn't. Think about our youth. I had 3 sons. I think about the character I want my president to embody. I think about the exemplary character I want set by my president. That character, Trump lacks. So think about the message that we send to him, our kids. The name calling, the seeking of revenge, that division is okay. When has that ever been okay? During my playing days, if anyone said anything negative about the Detroit, I made sure they felt me on Sunday. simply because I had pride here in the work that we did. So Detroit, let's make sure Trump fills us at the ballot box come election day with a vote for Kamala Harris. Yeah. I ain't forget about you behind me. Now, it's never been easier to get your vote out in Michigan. All you have to do, one, you can get your absentee ballot, and you don't have to wait. You can fill it out now and send it in, or walk it in as we did. If you'd rather vote early, then go and get that job done now. There are 14 early voting sites around the city of Detroit. It's convenient, so you don't have to worry until Election Day. Most of all, people, make sure your friends, make sure your family, and your neighbors plan to vote too. If you're here, then you know how important this election is. But some people in our communities are still a little bit checked out. They still don't know who they're going to vote for. So, every single one of you, we need you to win this race. Can I count on you at the ballot box? Hey, y'all know how it goes. If Detroit shows up, Kamala will win this race. Simple as that. Once again, Detroit, let your voices be heard loud and clear. For the next 2 weeks, let's show the world how we do. Appreciate you. Love you guys.
Please welcome Michigan Senator Gary Peters.
Well, hello, Detroit. It is great to be here. And I want to let you know that I just got the word that Barack Obama is on the ground. He's heading right here, right now. We've got 2 weeks until November 5th. But let's not forget that the election is happening right now. People can vote right now. Absentee ballots and early voting. And this is now the time for us to do what Michiganders do the best. Pound the pavement. Not take a single vote for granted and hustle every single day to elect Kamala Harris is the next President of the United States of America! You know, I've known Kamala Harris for a long time. I served with her in the United States Senate. In fact, we sat right next to each other, kind of in the back. We were new kids. And I will tell you, she is an amazing person. I had the chance to see her work. I got the chance to see her passion, and I can tell you she is strong. She is determined. She is smart as hell. And she is going to make an incredible president. Now her opponent, unfortunately, I know her opponent as well. Yeah. Apparently you do too. Well, let's be honest. We've been forced to watch Donald Trump's TV reality act for years. The lies, the hate, the bullying, the chaos, and the failed policies that leave everyday Americans behind while helping the billionaire class. We've seen that movie. And if I recall, in 2020, the American people fired that guy. We're not going back. Not going back. Well, somehow, this is hard to believe, but Trump is even more dangerous now than he was the first time around. He's more unstable. He's more unhinged. And you know, don't take my word for it. Just watch. I know this is going to be hard, but just watch one of his rallies. Oh my God, that guy is weird. And you know, if you want more, I would suggest that you listen to the people who actually worked for Trump. You know, basically this election, what are we doing? We're looking to hire someone to take the most important job in the world. And we all have that power to determine who that person will be. So what do you do if you're going to hire somebody? You check the references, right? We've all gone through that. You check the references. So, and these are people, let's check some of his top advisors, the people that he picked. And let's take a look and hear what they had to say about that experience. So first, what did his chief of staff say? His chief of staff said Trump is, and I'm quoting his former chief of staff, his #1 aide, quote, Donald Trump is a person that has nothing but contempt for our democratic institutions, our Constitution, and the rule of law. There is nothing more that can be said. God help us. Now, does that sound like a man that you would want to hire to be president? No. No. Well, maybe let's check another reference. Maybe that was just a bad reference. So let's check Trump's attorney general, one of the top law enforcement officials in his administration. He called Trump, quote, a consummate narcissist who constantly, quote, engages in reckless conduct. Does that sound like someone we would hire to be president? No. Okay, let's check another reference. 3 references is good. Let's check the Secretary of Homeland Security under Trump. He said, quote, Trump is, quote, an utter disgrace. His defense secretary called him, quote, a threat to democracy. And the nation's former highest-ranking military advisor called him, quote, a fascist to the core. Does that sound like someone that we should hire? No, that is not what this country needs. We know that. We need a president who will put our country first, above herself, every single day. We will need a president who will fight for America every single day. And ladies and gentlemen, that person is very clear. That's Kamala Harris. We also need a president who will stand with union workers. We need a president who understands without a strong union, you cannot have a middle class, you cannot have a strong country. We need Kamala Harris. We also need a president who will protect reproductive freedom and make sure that every woman can make decisions about her body. We need Kamala Harris. So there is no question that we must do everything in our power to elect Kamala Harris and Tim Walz and send them to the White House. But let me just say one thing. She also needs a team. She needs a team. She's an amazing woman, and I know it firsthand, but she needs a team. And what she needs is she has to have a majority in the United States Senate backing her up each and every day. We can hold that majority. We are working every day to do it, but we have to make sure that Alyssa Slotkin is voted in as the next senator from the great state of Michigan. Okay, let's talk then. What do we need to do? We need every one of you to make a plan. You need to return your absentee ballot or vote early, which you can do now at polling places right now all across the city of Detroit. We need every single one of you to make your voice heard this election. Second, that's first. Second, we need you to spread the word. Make sure your friends and neighbors understand what's at stake in this election. And if they're not registered, hey, no problem. Detroit residents can register at all 14 early voting sites in Detroit. And guess what? When you register, you can vote the same day. Your voice can be heard. You know, here in Michigan, we've seen a few close elections. I've had one or two myself. We know it's going to take a lot of hard work to carry this thing across the finish line. But seeing all of you here today, all of you here enthusiastic, fired up, I know that the city of Detroit is going to get this done. We are not going back. We're going to get up every day and we are going to fight for the future of this country. And as the whole country watches on election night, we are going to be so proud because of all the work we did. And the whole country sees that Michigan is a blue state. Kamala Harris is president. Thank you.
Please welcome Michigan Senator Debbie Stabenow.
Oh my gosh, you know, it is so wonderful to see all of you, and I have to tell you, it does my heart good. It's always helpful to have friends, so thank you. All right, it's go time, Detroit. It has been my honor to represent you in the United States Senate. I'm so excited about this election, aren't you? Are you ready to send Alyssa Slotkin to United States Senate? Are you ready to elect Democrats up and down the ballot? And are you ready to elect Vice President Kamala Harris as the next President of the United States? I don't know about you, but Michigan, from my perspective, needs to be the one to send Donald Trump packing for good. It is always great to have President Barack Obama with us in Detroit, isn't it? And medic, I'm sorry, we need a medic. Would somebody raise hands? Could we please get a medic for someone? Thanks, everybody. Do we have someone coming? Over here. It's good. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. You know what? I love being in a crowd that cares about each other, right? I mean, we believe in joy and respect and caring for one another, and they don't believe that on the other side, right? Right. So thank you. Thank you for that. But let me just say, wouldn't it be great if every city in America had the talent and the grit and the amazing comeback story that's been achieved in Detroit? I'm so proud of Detroit. I'm so proud of Detroit. You know, I remember when it started, the t-shirt started with Detroit versus everybody, and you know what? Detroit won. And of course, Donald Trump doesn't have a clue about what he's saying. He is so mentally unstable, I'm not sure he even knew he was in Detroit when he said it. And if he did know, he didn't care. And don't forget, by the way, the comeback story of our auto industry. Donald Trump said, let him go bankrupt, but Democrats doubled down on American manufacturing. And with President Obama's leadership, we moved our country forward. Thank you, President Obama. And now Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are fully prepared and ready to take the next step to lead us forward. I'm so excited about what they're going to do. You know, Donald Trump says we should fear the enemy from within. Not Putin's Russia, not China, not Iran, not North Korea. And he's made it clear that he would activate the military, the American military, to go after people he believes are the enemy from within. And so what does he mean about that? I assume he means anybody that disagrees with him, you, and you, and you, and you, and every single one of us who reject Project 2025. But let's be clear. We know who the real enemy from within is, and it's Donald Trump. We know right now, you're here because you know everything's on the line right now. This is a big deal, and we are not going back to the chaos and the corruption of Donald Trump. We aren't going back. We aren't going back. We are not going back. That's right. Vice President Harris and Governor Tim Walz are going to turn the page, thank goodness. And they're going to move us forward joyfully, respecting everyone, protecting our freedoms, creating opportunity for everybody to be able to work hard and get ahead. Kamala and Tim get up every day thinking about us. You know, I will never forget when I first met Kamala as Senator Harris. And we were sitting in a meeting. I'm part of the Senate leadership, and we were talking to new members about what they thought our priorities should be. And Kamala said, I want to focus on the things that keep families up at 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, whether my kid's going to have food, or I'm going to be able to take him to the doctor, or are we going to have a good job, and are we going to have a safe neighborhood? That's Kamala Harris. She cares about our children, our grandchildren, and the children we don't even know. That's what we care about as Democrats. And Donald Trump gets up every day and only cares about himself. So this is the moment, everybody. This is it. This is the moment. How many people have already voted? All right. How about your mom or your dad or your kids or your neighbor or your friends? We got more work to do, right? And we're going to do it. We're going to do it. This is an all-hands-on-deck moment for all of us. And I just want to say, because we're from the car state, you know, we put America and the world on wheels, and I'm so proud of Michigan. I'm so proud of Michigan for doing that. But here's what we know. When you want to go forward, you put the car in D. And when you want to go backwards, you put it in R. We're not going back. 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 We're not going back.
Please welcome the Detroit City Council President, Mary Sheffield.
Turn down the lights. I got a feeling I'm gonna be alright. Okay, alright. It's about damn time. Turn up the music. Let's celebrate. I got a feeling I'm gonna be okay.
Detroit! There we go. Are we all fired up? Are we ready to win this race? So in Detroit, we don't just dream. We make things happen. So are we ready to elect Kamala Harris as the next president of the United States of America? So listen, Detroit, we have just 2 short weeks before this election. And if we are going to bring this thing home and make sure that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz gets into the White House, we have to put in some hard work. But that's nothing new to Detroiters. What I know about Detroit is one thing, and that is that we will work hard. I am born and raised in this great city of Detroit, now serving in leadership. And what I know about our city is that we are full of tough people, resilient people. We don't back down from a challenge, and we are built for moments like this. When people counted us out, we rolled up our sleeves, we got to work, and we rebuilt this city. And now, 14 days away, with that same spirit and resiliency, we can and we will win this race and get... I don't know about you all, but I'm not going back. Detroit is not going back. Michigan is not going back. Our country is not going back. Let's say it again. We're not going back. We're not going back. We're on, you all. Guess who else is not going back? Donald Trump is not going back to the White House. If we show up and do our part and vote like we've never done before, Donald Trump is not going back. The former divider-in-chief, is what I like to call him, had the audacity to come to our great city and disparage our city. He claimed that if Kamala Harris became the president, that the whole country would be a mess like Detroit. Well, I got news for Mr. Trump. If the rest of the country had the heart of Detroit, its grit, its resilience, its spirit, we'd all would be better off. So no, Mr. Trump, Detroit is not a mess. Detroit is a model of how to rise, how to build, and how to thrive. We are a city that knows how to fight through hard times, how to overcome our struggles and come out better and stronger. And while here in Detroit, in the home of labor, he had the audacity to say that auto workers have it easy. He said that even a child can do the work of our auto workers. That's right. This just shows how out of touch Donald Trump is with everyday working class people in this city. Detroit auto workers have been the backbone of our economy. And we in Detroit, we stand with the brothers and sisters of labor who have built this country, who have sustained this country. So Detroit, we will not let Mr. Trump come here and disrespect our city, disrespect our workers. So we will show up and show him how we feel about him at the polls when we cast our votes in this upcoming election. Vote, 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 vote. So listen, Detroit, Donald Trump is dangerous. He's dangerous. He's unstable. He's unhinged. But what gives me hope is that he only gets the opportunity at a second chance of destroying our democracy if we allow him to. Are we going to let that happen? Are we going to let that happen? We have the power to stop him. We have the power to decide if he gets another chance. And just as Detroit served as the arsenal of democracy during World War II, Detroit is once again positioned to protect the democracy of this nation and across the globe. And this time, the weapon and artillery that we will use is the dynamic power of our vote, because we know that the path to the White House goes straight through Detroit. So Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, they offer a new way forward. They have a plan to create an opportunity economy that benefits all Americans, not just the wealthy. We must all do our part, Detroit, in this last 2 weeks to ensure that everyone has a plan to vote. Early voting is open right now in Detroit. Someone just say right now. Right now. If you are not registered, it's not a problem. You can go to the city clerk's office, go to a polling location, and register to vote, and even better, you can vote right on the spot. And so there are no excuses to not get up and show your vote in this election. So Detroit, as I close, let us rise to the occasion. We are 2 weeks out from this election. Let us get out, let us organize, and let us represent what Detroit is all about. God bless you all. Let's go and get it vote out.
Please welcome the Governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer.
What up, Doe? We need a medic over here. Let's give the person a little bit of room. We need another one over here. Okay, we need 2 medics. We're good? Okay, we're good to go, they're saying. If anyone needs help, raise your hand and we'll make sure we get it to you. But let's give them space to do what they need to do. What up, Joe? All right. Hello, my friends from Detroit. How about them Lions? Our team is showing the country what we are all about here in the Motors. Okay, we need another medic. I apologize. Yeah. Okay, where the sign is waving there, we need some assistance. You good? You got us? Okay, okay, I love you too. Let's stay safe and help one another. Yeah, okay. So our Lions, let me go back to the Lions, right? All right. Our team is showing the country what we're all about here in the Motor City and in the great state of Michigan. We play hard, we work together, and we get shit done, right? And we've been winning a lot. I think we should get used to it, right? This is a city and a state of underdogs. A city and a state who carries themselves with championship swagger. A community where people have one another's backs. And we never confuse cruelty with leadership. We know leadership is being brave and kind. This is the place that will elect Kamala Harris, the next president of the United States. Now, I am thrilled to be here with Detroit's own Marshall Mathers. Now, we all know Eminem produced a hell of a show at the Michigan Central Station in Corktown, am I right? And of course, I am thrilled to be here in Detroit, my beloved, favorite city, who also happens to be hosting someone I've admired for a long time, someone I've always looked up to, one of my all-time heroes, Barack Obama. President Obama saved Michigan's auto industry and protected hundreds of thousands of jobs. And he is here because he knows how important Michigan is and how important this election is that we elect Kamala Harris as vice president, as a senator, as attorney general, as a county prosecutor. Kamala Harris has had one client her entire life. We the people. And let me just say, she's picked a hell of a running mate in Tim Walz. Together, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are going to work to make a real difference in your life. They propose plans to lower our costs, to grow our economy, and to protect good-paying jobs and our fundamental freedoms. From building 3 million homes to tax relief for 100 million working and middle-class families, to loans to start the small business, to in-home care for seniors on Medicare, to protections for women, workers, and LGBTQ plus communities. They will fight for us because they have lived lives like ours. You know, Donald Trump doesn't get your life at all. Do you think he's ever had to take things out of the grocery cart in order to pay the bill? I mean, you think he's, well, yeah, you're right. He doesn't pay the bills, does he? You think he's ever rushed out of the door to drive carpool? Come on. He doesn't have a driver's license. You think he's ever shoveled a neighbor's walkway? I mean, you all know he doesn't even own a shovel, right? This guy has no idea what you go through every single day. He will say whatever it takes to get himself elected. And once he is, he'll do nothing to help you or your family get ahead. Kamala Harris, on the other hand, is going to fight for you because she's lived a life like you have, like we have. Do you know that she moved in with her sister to help her take care of her kids? Did you know that she took care of her mom at the end of her life when she was dying of cancer? You know she is the proud mamala to a beautiful blended family. We need another medic over here, please. Please raise your hand so we know where the medic needs to go. Thank you. Has the medic reached the person in need? Security, we need security over here, please. Oh, I'm sorry, they need a gurney. A stretcher. Okay, if everyone can just, it's okay. It's okay. The help is getting there. I love you too. So listen, what we need in the White House is someone who understands our lives. Someone who understands how hard it is day to day. someone who understands every person deserves a path to prosperity and dignity and full fundamental rights. You know, Donald Trump talks a big game, but he doesn't deliver. You all remember when he told us not one auto plant would close? The truth is 6 closed when Donald Trump was president. He failed us. He crashed our economy, and he lost 280,000 Michigan jobs. It cost us dearly, and we cannot let that happen again, so we are not going back. We're not going back. On the other hand, the Harris and Biden administration has delivered for us. Just yesterday, Hemlock Semiconductor won a huge federal investment to create thousands of jobs here in Michigan. Just think about that. That's thousands of workers who can come home after a long day at work and tuck their children in, knowing that their family is going to be okay. Because of the Biden-Harris administration's investments in Michigan, there are more auto and construction workers. There are more factories and housing being built, more roads getting fixed, more middle-class jobs than when Trump was president. Now, yes, and we're fixing the damn roads. That's right. Okay. Now, we still have a lot of good work to do, but places like Detroit are moving forward, and Donald Trump just doesn't get that. I know you all saw what he said about this beautiful city. He called Detroit a failure and a mess, proving he ain't firing on all cylinders. He doesn't have a clue what the hell he was talking about. And you know what I think? He ought to keep Detroit out of his mouth. There's a woman with a t-shirt on that says, "Make America Detroit Again." I got a great backup choir, don't I? You know, this is a proud American city defined by grit and hustle. And these might be characteristics Donald Trump doesn't even know about. We have been underestimated before, and we live to prove the haters wrong, right? You are all here because you know the stakes. But not everyone does. And we got some work to do. You know what really changes people's minds or gets them to turn out to vote is when they hear from their neighbors or their family members or their coworkers or their fellow parishioners. Medic? We need a medic over here, please. Give me a thumbs up when we've connected, please. Okay. Let's thank all the first responders who are helping us out, all right? So what really matters to our fellow Michiganders as they are going to make their decision about this upcoming election is hearing from you, from someone they love, someone they trust, someone they know. And that's why you, the people, have the real power in this election. The way we win this thing is by talking to people and sharing why we're voting. Your voice is the power, and never forget it. Now remember, Donald Trump knows this. That's why he tried to throw out your votes in 2020. He knows that when Detroit shows up, he loses. And he's about to find out Detroiters don't play. So, it's up to you, Detroit. Our choice is clear. Kamala Harris wants to move us forward, and Donald Trump wants to take us back. Kamala Harris will protect our freedoms. Donald Trump wants to take them away. She solves problems, and he is a problem. So, Detroit, let's make sure the world hears us come Election Day. Let's get out the vote, and let's make Kamala Harris the next president of the United States. Thank you. I love you. Big Gretch out.
Barack Obama. And he will be out here shortly. We've had a lot of people passing out, having medical emergencies because it's been a long day. We've got water in the back. I'm asking everybody to bend their knees with me. If you need to sit down, feel free to sit down. The last thing we need is somebody to get hurt. Thank you very much. If you're feeling faint, please sit down, head to the back, we'll get you back up. Thank you so much. Let's have a safe night. The program will begin very shortly.
Please welcome to the stage field organizer Ian Brox.
Good afternoon, Detroit. Are we up? Are we up? Are we fired up? Are we ready to go? I am so blessed and honored to be speaking in front of all of you here today. My name is Ian Brox. I was born and raised here in Metro Detroit, and I am proud to be working as a field organizer with the Michigan One campaign. My journey into organizing developed from a deep purpose to serve others and to uplift those who are in need, which brings me to the very reason I am standing in front of all of you here today. I truly love this community, and I want to do all that I can to ensure that it's still going to be a growing one. I know that the single best thing that we can do for this city is to help Kamala Harris win this election. But if we're going to do it, then we need every single one of you to get involved. Every day we are reaching out to Michiganders about the choice that they have in this election, and right now we need your help. There are so many ways that you can lend a helping hand. You can make calls. You can knock doors in your neighborhood. You can walk right into a field office and ask an organizer, what do they need? But unfortunately, there are still a lot of people who have not made up their minds about this current election, and they're not going to be convinced by another ad or another email. They are going to get out and vote because of people like you and me. So with that being said, politics is not a spectator sport. If you're excited about Kamala Harris, but you're worried about the other side, then it's not enough to watch the polls and stress about the news. We need to put down our phones and to join the team. So I'm here to ask each and every one of you, will you help us win this race? Will you commit to doing your part? Will you sign up and volunteer so that we can do everything in our power to elect Kamala Harris and Tim Walz? So with us being 2 weeks away from Election Day, we can't back down. We have to do what Detroit does best and fight for what we believe in. Because Detroit, when we fight, when we fight, when we fight, thank you, Detroit. We have 2 weeks to make history.
Can't hear. Can you hear? Can you hear? Can you hear? Okay. I'm going to eat this mic. My name is Alyssa Slotkin. I am so proud to be your nominee for the U.S. Senate. I am so happy to be here tonight. Detroit, you're looking freaking good. You're looking good. Word on the street is we have now hit 12,000 people. So I just want to say, we all know why we're here. We know the mission. We know our responsibilities. We've talked about it. We've cheered about it. We've rallied about it. And we know that our country has a choice to make in 14 days. And we know what we're going to do to help the country turn the right way in that path in the woods, the way we divert. We know what we have to do. We have to elect Kamala Harris as our next president. We have to elect the first woman president in history of the United States. And we're going to do it because Michigan is the center of the frickin' universe right now. But don't worry, Michigan understands our goals. We understand what we have to do. We know what our responsibilities are. But let me just say this. This is a real full circle moment for me because I get to be here on stage with my former boss, Barack Obama. And let me just say, I'm a former CIA officer, a civil servant. I worked for both parties, and I worked in the Bush White House. I was there the Friday he left office, and I was there the Monday that Barack Obama walked in. And it was amazing. Things were a little different. Things were a little different. I got to be staffing as like a little nerd staffer that first day in office in the Situation Room. And what I can tell you I saw up close was something that is missing from so much of politics: integrity in what we do and keeping that focus on the people and not yourself. I also got to experience that lawyerly kind of inquisition that he did to you as a staffer to make sure you knew your stuff. I sat there, right, thank you. I sat there as he would just grill me and grill me and grill me. And what he focused on was the objective facts of a situation, not the politics, not what he should do, but what was right for the American people. I got to see it up close and learn from that. And I'm proud to be here as one of his alumni. I will also say that he's gotten a lot more chill, like a lot. I saw him at the convention. He was wearing no socks. He was chilling out. So it is nice to see him. I saw him backstage. He is ready to go. He is ready to fight in this election. Now, I will just say that we all know that maybe you're here because you wanted to bring your kids or you wanted to see Obama up close or whatever, but we know that at the end of the day, you are here because you love your country and you want it to be better. You want it to be better. Don't we believe that America can live up to the promise and be a better place? Don't we believe that? So I could not be prouder to be here as your nominee for the U.S. Senate because Kamala Harris needs a positive Senate, a supportive Senate in what she's going to do. Now, before we get to the big guy, I want to invite one other person up here. Someone who defines pure Michigan, someone who has brought attention to Detroit, someone who believes in our state, who believes in our teams, who believes in Michigan to his core, and has shown the whole world what Detroit and Michigan can do. So without further ado, can the real Slim Shady please stand up?
What up, though? So look, I wrote down a few things I wanted to say. I love you too. Thank you. I'm here tonight for a couple of important reasons. As most of you know, the city of Detroit and the whole state of Michigan mean a lot to me. And going into this election, the spotlight is on us more than ever, and I think it's important to use your voice. So I'm encouraging everybody to get out and vote, please. I also think that people shouldn't be afraid to express their opinions. And I don't think anyone wants an America where people are worried about retribution or what people will do if you make your opinion known. I think Vice President Harris supports a future for this country where these freedoms and many others will be protected and upheld. And here to tell you much more about that, President Barack Obama.
Hello, Detroit! You fired up? Are you ready to go? Yeah. Hey, I've got to say, let me just say, let me just say, I gotta say, you know, I have done a lot of rallies, so I don't usually get nervous. But I was feeling some kind of way following Eminem. I mean, I notice my palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy, vomit on my sweater already, mom's spaghetti. I'm nervous, but on the surface I look calm and ready to drop bombs, but I keep on forgetting. Dun, 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 dun. I thought Eminem was going to be performing. I was going to jump out. Love me some Eminem. I love you back. All right. I love you back. It is good to be back in Michigan. Good to be back in Motor City. Now, I heard there was another rally here on Friday night, but it was a little smaller than this one. Don't boo now, vote. Don't boo. I'm telling you right now, don't boo. They can't hear your boos, but they can hear your votes. And I am here today for a very important reason, to ask you to vote for your Congressman, Shri Tanada, for your next Senator, Alyssa Slotkin, for the next President of the United States, Kamala Harris. And I know you've heard this already, but it is worth repeating. Here in Detroit, early in-person voting has already started. If you are not registered, you can do it right before you vote at any early voting site. Early in-person voting begins all across Michigan on October 26th. And if you have an absentee ballot, just go ahead and return it. Don't be waiting. Just go ahead and do that. Find out where to vote early, where to register. If you need to find out where there's a ballot drop box near you, all that information's at iwillvote.com/Michigan. All right, and then you help your friends and family make a plan to vote too. Because together, Detroit, we have a chance to choose a new generation of leadership in this country. To start building a better and stronger and fairer and more hopeful America. And let me tell you, your vote is going to matter. Because we know this election is going to be tight. And it's going to be tight because a lot of Americans are still struggling. And I miss you too, but hold on. We can catch up later. As a country, hold on a second. As a country, we've been through a lot together these last few years. There was a historic pandemic, and it wreaked havoc on our communities and our families and our businesses. Disruptions from the pandemic then caused prices to hike. And that put a strain on family budgets. And people started feeling like no matter how hard they worked, they're just treading water. So I get why people are looking to shake things up. I understand that. But what I cannot understand is why anybody would think that Donald Trump will shake things up in a way that is good for you. Because there is absolutely no evidence that this man thinks about anybody but himself. I have said it before. Donald Trump is a 78-year-old billionaire who has not stopped whining about his problems since he rode down his golden escalator 9 years ago. And when he's not complaining, when he's not doing some strange tweet, he's trying to sell you stuff. I mean, who is hawking merch when they're running for president? I mean, he's trying to sell you golden sneakers. He's trying to sell you a $100,000 watch. Says it's made in Switzerland, but nobody really knows. And then, listen up, my favorite is the Trump Bible. Don't boo. Don't boo, vote. Gideon gives the Bible out for free. He wants to sell you the Word of God, Donald Trump edition. He's got his name right there next to Matthew and Luke. And I'll give you one guess where those Bibles are made. He's Mr. Tough Guy on China, except when he can make a few bucks. Listen, you cannot make this stuff up. If this was a routine on Saturday Night Live, you'd be all like, no, you know, that's going too far. But it's all true. And the reason he's doing it is because all he cares about is his ego and his money and his status. He's not thinking about you. For him, power is nothing more than a means to his ends. He wants the middle class to pay the price for another huge tax cut that would mostly help him and his country club buddies. He doesn't care if he costs women their reproductive rights because he figures it won't make a difference in his life. And this is the most important thing. Now, I want everybody to listen up. Donald Trump wants us to think that this country is hopelessly divided between us and them. And us, for him, is the, quote, real Americans who support him. And everybody else who doesn't, that's them. That's the enemy. And he does this because he understands that dividing people, making people angry, that boosts his chances of being elected. So that's his mindset, those are his intentions, and then there is also the question of his competence. Now, y'all have an example of competence in your outstanding governor, Gretchen Whitmer. That's what competence is, getting stuff done. On the other hand, have you seen Mr. Trump lately? He's out there just, he'll give like 2.5-hour speeches, just a word salad. You don't know what the heck he's saying. The other day, he had a town hall meeting. Now, I've had a lot of town hall meetings. And the point is that you're supposed to listen and then answer questions from your constituents. About 45 minutes into it, he just said, you know what, I don't feel like taking questions no more. And then he just played music for half an hour. He's just up there swaying to Ave Maria and YMCA. Can you imagine if Alyssa or I or Gretchen did that? Now, I will say our playlist might be better. I'd have Lose Yourself on there. At one of his rallies recently, he called himself the father of IVF. Now, I have no idea what that means, and you don't either. He said January 6th was a day of love. Made it sound like Woodstock. Made it sound like Coachella. Here's the point, Detroit. If your grandpa was acting like this, you'd be worried. You'd call up. You'd call up your sister, your brother, your cousin. You'd be all like, let me holler at you. Have you noticed Grandpa? He acting a little funny. But this is somebody who wants unchecked power. We do not need to see what an older, loonier Donald Trump looks like with no guardrails. America's ready to turn the page. We're ready for a better story. Michigan, we are ready for a President Kamala Harris. And the good news is Kamala Harris is ready for the job. This is a leader who has spent her life fighting on behalf of people who need a voice, need a champion, somebody who was raised in the middle class. She worked at McDonald's when she was in college to pay her expenses. She did not pretend to work at McDonald's when it was closed This is somebody who believes in the values that built this country. And she is as prepared as any nominee for president has ever been. That's who Kamala is. And in the White House, she'll have an outstanding partner in Governor Tim Walz. Now, before I came here, I was in Madison, Wisconsin, and Tim Walz was there. And I love that dude. He's a veteran, he's a teacher, he's a coach, a marksman. He's been a great governor. And he's a car guy. He can even take a vintage truck apart and put it back together again. Now, do you think Donald Trump can do that? Do you think Donald Trump has ever even changed a tire in his life? Let me tell you, if that man gets a flat tire, what's the matter? We need an EMT? I think we may need an EMT back there. That's all right. This always happens. Everybody bend your knees a little bit. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. You got to keep moving a little bit. Don't lock those knees. EMT right back there, please. Now, I am telling you, he has not ever changed a flat tire. He has his chauffeur change a tire. He says, Jeeves, Jeeves, change that tire. That's what he calls him, Jeeves. I don't know if his name's actually Jeeves, but that's how I imagine it. The point is, if you elect Kamala and Tim, they will not be focused on their problems. They'll be focused on your problems. They can see you and relate to you because they've lived like you have. And they understand that too many folks in Michigan and across the country are still struggling to pay the bills. Now, understand, wages are steadily growing. Inflation is slowing. But the price of everything from health care to housing to groceries is still too high. And that hurts. The question is, who's actually going to do something about it? All right, y'all already know the answer, but let me give it to you anyway. And this is, you have to do a little bit of homework, kind of examine their plans. So Donald Trump's plan is to give another massive tax cut to billionaires and big corporations. Do not boo. Vote. Now, I'll be honest with you. I've been talking to people around the country, and sometimes I hear people say, well, you know, yeah, I know Trump's kind of goofy, but I do remember the economy when he first came in, it was pretty good. And I say, yeah, it was good because it was my economy. I know y'all remember it. I know folks in Detroit remember it. I spent 8 years cleaning up the mess that the Republicans left me. Y'all remember the auto industry in America was flat on its back. They didn't want to lift a finger to help. And we made the investments to reopen those factories and put people back to work. And by the time I left office, I handed over to Donald Trump 75 straight months of jobs growth. Yeah, the economy was good because we did the work. And all he did was give a tax cut to people who didn't need one. Drove up the deficit in the process. Now he wants to do it again. Do not fall for that okey doke. Don't be bamboozled. So that's on the economy. When it comes to health care, Donald Trump's only answer is to end the Affordable Care Act. Now, do not boo. Now, if you ask him, hold on. If you ask him, he doesn't really even know why he wants to end it, except for the fact that I did it. So, but the problem he's got, the problem Vance has got, is it's now popular, right? Because 50 million people have gotten health care from it that didn't have it before. So y'all remember this? A couple weeks ago, his running mate is debating Tim, and his running mate says, has the nerve, has the chutzpah, has the gall to say Donald Trump, quote, salvaged the Affordable Care Act. Donald Trump spent his entire presidency trying to tear that thing down. And he couldn't even do that right. And now, 8 years after he was elected, the moderator in the debate, y'all remember this, moderator says, all right, well, if you take down the Affordable Care Act, what are you going to do? He said, well, I've got concepts of a plan for how we replace it. Concepts of a plan. Now, I want y'all to think about this. Let's say your boss gives you an assignment, says, look, I need it by Friday. So Friday rolls around, your boss says, did you finish that project? And you say, well, actually, I haven't started, but I do have a concept of a plan. Or you could try it at home. Honey, did you do the dishes? I have a concept of a plan to do the dishes. How's that going to go over? If it would not work for you, why should it work for the President of the United States? And the good news is that Kamala Harris does not have concepts of a plan. She has an actual plan to make your life better. To bring down the cost of things like groceries. She'll go after corporations that are trying to jack up prices, just like she went after the big banks and for-profit colleges when she was the Attorney General in California. To lower housing costs, Kamala is going to cut red tape and work with state and local governments and the private sector to build 3 million new homes. She'll give first-time home buyers up to $25,000 to help with a down payment. Concrete plans. To lower health care costs, Kamala's already worked with Joe Biden to bring down the cost of insulin and more than 50 prescription drugs. She's going to do more. As president, she will not stop working to limit out-of-pocket costs and protect your care. And instead of giving more tax cuts to billionaires, raising prices on working families, Kamala's going to give a tax cut to people who need it. 100 million working class and middle class and working people here in America. You know, that's who Kamala is. That's what she stands for, not concepts of a plan, but actual plans. Now, if you challenge Trump or Vance on these quote-unquote concepts, then they'll fall back on one answer. This is their go-to about everything. Blame immigrants. He wants you to believe that if you let him round up whoever he wants and ship them out, all your problems will be solved. Now, hold on a second. Listen up. There are going to be a couple times where I really want to key in on this. because this is a big issue that's driving a lot of folks to think about voting for this guy. So I want everybody to pay attention, and I want you to say this when you're talking to folks who are concerned about immigration. Immigration is a real issue at our borders. We are a nation of immigrants, and we are a nation of laws. And we have to make sure the system works the way it's supposed to, and it's orderly. That's true. But here's the thing I don't understand. Him and Vance are always talking about, well, Kamala, you've been vice president for 4 years. Let me tell you something. Wasn't Donald Trump president for 4 years? Wasn't he in charge for 4 years? If rounding up and deporting millions of desperate people, many of them who are women and children, if that's the answer to everything, why is it that the number of undocumented immigrants basically stayed the same when he left office as when he took office? He did not solve the problem, and I'll tell you why. Because he does not have a real plan. He has concepts of a plan, and it's a mean and ugly plan designed to make people resentful and angry. So I'll tell you what an actual plan is. There was an actual plan to bring order at the border and fix our immigration system. A bipartisan deal that Kamala Harris supported, even though it was written by one of the most conservative Republicans in Congress. It was ready for a vote. And Donald Trump decided to tank that bill. He called up and pressured Republicans, do not vote for this. Because he wanted the issue for the election. He thought it would be helpful to him when he ran for president. Think about that. We do not need a president who will make problems worse just to make his politics better. We need a president who wants to solve problems and make your life better. And that's what Kamala Harris is going to do. And to help her do it, she will need a Senate full of public servants like Alyssa Slotkin. Now, some of you may not be aware, Alyssa and I go way back. She was in the administration. She was sitting in the Situation Room. She delivered national security briefings on some of the toughest issues we were dealing with. Alyssa don't play. She is serious. And on some of these key issues, I'd have her negotiate on my behalf because she understood when you had to compromise and when you had to stand firm. And in Congress, she's been working on the issues that matter to you, like bringing down the cost of prescription drugs and bringing supply chains back to the U.S. and creating good jobs right here in Michigan, working with state government. This is the kind of person we need in Washington, because presidents can't do it alone. She will help Kamala and Tim get stuff done. Somebody who shares our values and wants to move the country forward and not back. Now, one of those values we share, that we talk about, that we worked on, that all of you care deeply about, is freedom. So let me talk about that just for a second. I don't think we've ever had an election with candidates whose conception, whose understanding of freedom is so different. Because for Donald Trump and his cronies, freedom basically just means getting away with stuff. He wants to be able to, like, fire workers, bust unions, and get away with it. Or allow companies to pollute our water and our air and get away with it. He said in the middle of the pandemic, when people were dying and hospitals were being overrun, he actually said, I do not take any responsibility at all. I do not believe any American president has ever uttered those words before. But that's his idea of freedom. He gets to do what he wants, and he's not responsible for anything. We have a broader idea of freedom. We believe in the freedom, if we're willing to work hard to provide for our families. We believe in the freedom to breathe clean air and drink clean water and send our kids to school without worrying if they're going to come home. We believe that true freedom gives each of us the right to make decisions about our own lives, and it requires us to recognize that other people have the freedom to make different choices. You know, I've always said on tough issues, let's take one of the toughest. There are good people of conscience on both sides of the abortion divide. And I respect anybody whose faith tells them this isn't something they can support. But if we believe in freedom, then we should at least agree that such a deeply personal decision should be made by the woman whose body is involved and not by politicians. And the majority of America agrees with it, which is why you've been seeing Donald Trump try to tie himself into a pretzel on this issue. When he ran for president the first time, he said he'd support punishing women who got an abortion. Now, just a few weeks ago, he told women, I'll be your protector. I'll tell you how he protected you. He handpicked 3 of the Supreme Court justices that overturned Roe versus Wade. He bragged about it. Now there are Trump abortion bans in 20 states, many of them with no exceptions for rape and incest. And he's going around saying everybody wanted it that way. No, they did not. So Donald Trump may be confused, but let's be clear about what's at stake here. If you send Alyssa Slotkin to the Senate, she will vote to restore the reproductive freedom that women had for nearly 50 years. And if Congress passes that bill, Kamala Harris will sign it into law. And that is just one example of how elections matter. And I want to spend a little time on this. Don't worry, I'm almost done. Hey, I get how frustrating politics can seem sometimes. I get frustrated, Lord knows. I don't watch cable news because it gives you a headache, put you in a bad mood, because it seems like folks are just arguing and bickering and mad, and then nothing gets done, and so you start feeling like your vote doesn't matter. But, in fact, your vote does matter, because your vote can make your life a little bit better or a little bit worse. Now, people sometimes, I think, have the wrong idea. Politics is not going to solve all your problems. Poverty will still exist, even if Kamala Harris and Tim Walz get elected, because it's a hard problem. Racism doesn't go away based on one vote or one administration. Those things don't stop overnight. The way you make progress is by making things better a little bit at a time, and then over time, those little differences become big differences. And so, look, I'll use an example. Because over 8 years, Alyssa, myself, others worked really hard, and we got a lot of stuff done, but there's a bunch of stuff I didn't get done. I didn't solve, for example, all the problems with our healthcare system, but almost 50 million people have gotten healthcare through the Affordable Care Act. It made a difference in their lives. Everybody here, everybody in this auditorium knows somebody who would not have had health insurance if it hadn't been for that bill. More than 50 million people with pre-existing conditions can no longer be denied coverage or charged more. Before that passed, if you had a kid who got sick, even if they got cured, the fact that they had gotten sick before, that they had a pre-existing condition, they might not have been able to get insurance. So no. Look, I'm using this as an example to tell you that a little bit of change for the better makes a difference. I'll give you another example that nobody talks about anymore. And I don't know why we don't talk about it. When I was president, in my second term, and we had been dealing with, we had seen like the H1N1 virus and the Ebola virus, and I talked to scientists, and they said, look, with globalization, with travel, growing populations, at some point we're going to have a big pandemic. So I said to my team, I said, look, the same way we plan for hurricanes and tornadoes, we actually have to plan for a pandemic. So we put together a whole playbook, talked to the experts, we got all the agencies together. We said, if a pandemic happens, here's how we are going to deal with the public health system. Here's how we're going to deal with the schools. Here's how we're going to accelerate vaccinations. And here's how we're going to explain it to people so people can understand it. We've practiced it. So when Donald Trump comes in, just like I handed him a good economy, I handed him this playbook, and he just, I guess, dropped it in the trash bin. 3 years later, a pandemic hits. Now, I want to be really fair and accurate on this, all right? No matter who was president, COVID was going to be a crisis. No matter who was president, people were going to die and get sick, and there were going to be businesses that shut down for a while, and travel restrictions, because this is something that hadn't happened for 100 years. But if you look at right across the border in Canada, their per capita death rate from COVID was 60% lower than here in the U.S. Now I want you to do the math. Over 1 million people died during the pandemic here in the U.S. 60% is 600,000 people. That's people's grandparents, people's parents, co-workers, friends. Some of those folks might be alive if we have a competent president who actually is paying attention and doing their homework and actually trying to make things better, as opposed to telling people, go ahead and inject bleach. That might work. So do not tell me that your vote doesn't matter. If somebody in your family, in your neighborhood, your coworker tells you it don't make a difference, then you've got to tell them, no, having somebody who's competent and sees you and cares about you and thinks about you, it makes a difference. It'll make a difference to them. They may not always know it. And if that's not enough, then you also have to remind them that any election is about more than just policies. It's about values, and it is about character. Now, some of you know, growing up, I didn't have a father in the house. But I was lucky enough to have people around me, a stepfather, my grandparents, teachers, coaches, and most of all, my mom, who tried to teach me the difference between right and wrong. And who showed me what it meant to be honest and be responsible and to work hard and be accountable and treat other people the way I'd want to be treated. And I won't lie to you. You know, when I was a teenager, through young adulthood, I did not always live up to those values the way I should have, and I made mistakes, and I tried to learn from them. And I internalized those values, and I tried to live up to them, and I tried to pass them on to my kids. And I suspect most of you grew up the same way. And one of the most disturbing things about this election, about Trump's rise in politics, is how so many of us, even good people that we know, seem somehow suddenly to be willing to set aside values that we were taught. I mean, the day after the 2020 election, thousands of mail ballots were being counted right here in this convention center. And because Donald Trump was willing to spread lies about voter fraud in Michigan, protesters came down, banged on the windows, shouting, "Let us in, stop the count." Poll workers inside being intimidated. Earlier this month, we learned that someone on Trump's campaign told the lawyer to, quote, to find a reason to try to throw out votes, quote, even if it's BS. Hey, do not boo. Later, hold on. Later, the same staffer said, quote, make people riot. All because Donald Trump couldn't accept losing. Right now, we just saw one of the deadliest couple of hurricanes down in North Carolina, Florida. And while Biden and Harris are comforting families and trying to get aid, and FEMA workers are trying to go out there, Donald Trump is making stuff up, saying that, oh, they're diverting emergency funds to immigrants, and that they're not giving it to Republican counties. And so suddenly FEMA workers, emergency workers trying to help desperate people, are worried about their own safety, and people aren't applying for aid. When did that become okay? No, look, I know you know the answer, but I want us to think about this. No matter where you stand on the issues, why would you go along with that? If your coworkers acted like that, they wouldn't be your coworkers for very long. If you had a family member who acted like that, you might still love them, but you wouldn't put them in charge of anything. You wouldn't trust them. And yet, when Donald Trump lies or cheats or shows utter disregard for our Constitution, when he calls service members who died in battle losers, when he calls fellow citizens vermin, we make excuses for it. We act like it's okay. Or at least those who say they're supporting him, they say, well, you know, he's just joking, or it's not that serious, or what, you know, as long as we win, that's how politics is played. No, it's not. And I've noticed this especially, you know, a while back I said this, and some folks were all, you know, asking me questions about it, where I said, look, especially some men seem to think Donald Trump's behavior is somehow a sign of strength. You know, no. Look, I want to be clear. I want everybody to actually look at the record. I want them to educate themselves on the issues. I have friends who have voted Republican in the past. I do not think one party has the monopoly on all wisdom. But when I hear folks saying, yeah, I'm thinking about voting for him just because, and I say, what? And they say, well, I know he seems strong. He seems tough. I saw him at the UFC fight. I am here to tell you that is not what real strength is. It never has been. Real strength is about working hard. All those guys showing up every day on the factory floor, busting their butts to support their families, that's real strength. Real strength is taking responsibility for your actions and upholding your duty. Real strength is about telling the truth, even when it's inconvenient. Real strength is about helping people who need it and standing up for those who can't always stand up for themselves. That's what we should want in our daughters and our sons. And that is what I want to see in the President of the United States of America. And the good news is that you have candidates to vote for in this election who demonstrate that kind of character, who know what real strength looks like, who will set a good example and do the right thing and leave this country better than they found it. And that is the choice in this election. It is not just policies that are on the ballot. It is about who we are. It is about what we stand for. So whether this election is making you feel excited or scared or hopeful or frustrated or anything in between, do not sit back and hope for the best. I know I'm the hope guy, but don't just hope. Get off your couch and vote. Put down your vote. Put down your phone and vote. Vote for Kamala Harris as the next President of the United States. Vote for Tim Walz as the next Vice President of the United States. Vote for Alyssa Slotkin and this whole incredible Michigan Democratic ticket. Get your friends and family, neighbors, co-workers to do the same. Because if enough of us make our voices heard, we will leave no doubt about the outcome of this election. We will leave no doubt about who we are and what America stands for. And together we will keep building a country that is more fair and more just and more equal and more free. That is our job, Detroit. That is our job, Michigan. That's our responsibility. Let's get to work. Thank you, Detroit. Thank you, Michigan.